And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, John the Punk Thompson. 100%. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big John McCarthy.
Hey, hello, we are live. It is Tuesday night. We are back, my man's with the Washington Capitol. He's got an Ovechkin jersey that's signed, and he's wearing it. He's an idiot. But I got all kinds of people coming up on Instagram here. Race Farmstead, Carrie Hadley. We got all kinds of people going here. Hickman, Honda. What's up, guys? We got so much to talk about.
John was able to join this week's podcast, Dave.
I know. Thank you very much.
Oh, I think it's great. I think it's fantastic. John, we got some great fights coming up, man, this weekend, and I'm looking forward to this bang. Hopefully, it's a banger.
Hopefully.
I
I think it will be.
You think so?
Yeah, dude. And it's because
don't get into the fight too much. We got to give the tease.
Yeah,
Come on,
true.
don't give
True,
into the fight too much. You really no. Give me your honest opinion. You really think it's gonna be a banger?
I do. This will be a great fight.
Really?
Yeah.
I think by the
Has
end
to
of
be.
this, I think by the middle of the second round, Carlos Prates is gonna be like, oh, so now you're a wrestler.
So you're a
huh?"
wrestler.
That's exactly
So
what he's
now
gonna
you
be
want to
saying.
wrestle.
So now you're a wrestler.
And you know what that means? Oh,
Ian Garry's using his brain.
so you're a smart fighter.
Nah.
Yeah.
But that's what we don't care about being smart, John. We care about bangers. I'm retired. I'm done with watching all the other smart. I don't want the smart stuff. I want the real
Don't need it.
stuff.
Yeah.
Give me the bangers, man. That's what I want to see.
See, you've prostituted yourself into the
Yes, I
point
have.
now.
Oh,
That
yeah.
you're saying, "Oh, I only like strikers."
I'm a whore.
Okay.
I am. When it comes to this stuff now when I walk past the cage and I'm seeing him getting hit, I'm like, yeah, go a little bit harder.
Go harder on him.
Go a little
As
harder,
long as that's not me, it's okay.
But I mean, John, as you watched the games yesterday, man, the hockey games were fire yesterday. They were fire, man. The Caps were up 2-0, man. They almost blew it, came back in overtime, scored the game-winning goal. Guess who scored the game-winning goal?
It wasn't you.
Doesn't matter. Hey, if you're a big enough fan, it could have been me. I was living vicariously through him.
I got
The
it.
reason why I'm wearing this signed jersey is because I've got multiples of them, but I've got the one up on my inside my studio here that's signed by him the year that they won the Stanley Cup. I've got that one framed.
That was good.
Put up on, yeah, that one there. And I got the whole team. I have another one signed with the whole team the year they won the Stanley Cup. So I've got that. I also got the Blackhawks one signed over here the year they won the Stanley Cup, the whole team. And then I've also got the San Jose Sharks the year they went to the finals and then lost. But still, I have the whole team. I love it. I enjoy hockey, man.
Hockey's great. Hockey's
The
such a good
first
sport.
round of the playoffs is bananas because the 8 seed can always beat the 1 seed in hockey.
Oh yeah.
Very rare that happens in football or baseball or any other. It's very rare. Hockey, it's almost like a given that one.
Hockey is about whose goalie is hot.
That's true.
In the playoffs, that's where it starts.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
You got a hot goalie, you're doing good.
John, do you know how to ice skate?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, absolutely. I
Absolutely.
used to speed skate.
Really?
Yeah.
What's your idea of speed though? Like 8 miles an hour, 12? Like
No, speed skates, long blades, a big.
okay, so that's how
You're
fast. Like
going
what?
fast.
12 miles an hour, 12 for
Shut
you.
up,
I mean,
dude, shut
for
up.
you, if you were to
Here,
hit the ground,
you
what are
wanna-
like,
you wanna know the
300 pounds
truth?
back in the day, John?
Here's the truth of it. See, my sister used to figure skate.
It makes
So,
sense now.
You got to figure. Oh no.
Makes sense,
So
John.
so my sister used to figure skate. So as a young kid, my dad was getting us up at 4:00 in the morning to have her at ice skating practice at 5:00 in the morning, and then I would have to sit there. So I was getting bored. So they didn't have hockey skates at this, but they did have speed skates and figure skates. And my dad said he'll do the speed skates.
You should have. I would have loved to have seen you in figure skates.
Oh yeah, that's
That'd been
it.
classic. They would have fit perfectly in those white Sylvester Stallone shorts that
Yeah,
I've
man.
seen a picture of you.
I used to do the short track speed skating when I was a kid, man. It was awesome.
You know, one of these days I'm going to find that photo of you in those Sylvester Stallone white Speedo Hooters shorts, and I'm gonna get that picture.
You're gonna
It's
get that
going
picture.
up. It's going up on every social media platform there is.
Yeah.
You guys, it's great. It was like a Sylvester Stallone style, right? The Hooter style, right?
Yeah, it's the Hooter style.
Just the
They
Hooter
were-
style.
What were they called? Dolphins.
What they call dolphins?
Dolphin shorts. Yeah.
Miami Dolphins kind of used to wear them, right? For practice.
You know, back then, if you were running, you fucking wore that kind of. They didn't have like the fucking biker.
I gotta be honest though, John. When I'm running, I enjoy wearing those kind of shorts. It's a different, like, it just feels more free.
Well, something's free.
But you know, it's also been proven you can run a little bit faster when you wear those kind of shorts.
It might be because, you know,
Yeah,
they're just doing a little flutter in the wind there.
Little flutter is what you refer to yourself as. I get it.
A little flutter.
Little flutter. Got it.
Little flutter.
Podcast Dave loves to run. You run in those little Hooter shorts, Dave, when you do like your marathon.
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, I let it all hang out.
You do? You let it all hang out. All 2 inches. Huh?
All three. I gave him 3. You gave him 2.
Well, that's why I wear Speedos.
Yeah. I let it all hang out, man. Got 3 babies by the head. John, the Stars game last night in hockey, fantastic game last night. Went into overtime. Just great game, man.
All
Great
of
game.
them. Dude, the
All of them
Wild
yesterday
and
was fire.
was it the Wild and the Knights? Just all of them were crazy.
No, LA was
LA.
They were up 4-0.
Yeah.
Then Montreal came back.
Not Montreal, Edmonton.
Edmonton. Yeah. They came back and it was 5-5 going into overtime. They ended up losing 6-5. That sucked to have that comeback and not win.
No, it's awesome.
It's so bad for those. They're exhausted now.
Oh,
all the energy just deflated. All right, guys. Hey, we're gonna go ahead and stop talking about hockey, and we're gonna get into some fight talk. And you know, John, there's some big fights, and I'm looking forward to the Ian Garry fight against Prates. Man, we were saying, you don't think it's good. You think it's gonna be a banger. I think Ian Garry is gonna turn into a wrestler.
Okay, and I'm not saying you're wrong. I do believe he's going to wrestle in it. But look at all 5 rounds in this. They all start on the feet. Okay, so he's going to have to be taking somebody down all those times. And Prates is not that guy. When you look at the way he fights and the way he has been fighting and the confidence that he has gained over the fights that he's had just in the UFC. Look at this guy now is dangerous, and he's dangerous for someone shooting in on his legs. He is ready to throw flying knees. He does all kinds of, you know, unorthodox ways of attacking you. He's danger. He's just got danger tape wrapped around him. All right. Not that Ian Garry is not a phenomenal fighter. I think he is absolutely top of the food chain when it comes to the 170-pound class. He's right there.
Yeah. But
he's a smart fighter, and he will try to wrestle, but he's not going to be able to just take Prates down. This is not going to work for him. If that's his game plan, I'm just going to go in there and take him down, then you're going to be eating a lot of shots. One of those shots might put you out.
The way that I see it is that he is going to get the takedown, and I think he's going to work right to the back, just like he did against Shavkat, just like he's done before in other fights. I think he's going to work on staying his distance, keeping his distance, and when Prates overcommits, he's going to try to work on getting that easy takedown, whether it's body lock, lift, scoop, takedown. His work at shootbox, I think, is going to be very important. He's really looking to become a real mixed martial artist. Just didn't have enough in his last fight. He's going to end up I think he's going to get better from the last time to this time. Yeah. This fight, though, to me is, are we going to see him get a submission? Are we going to see him control the top position? Because on the feet, they're equally probably, I think, in terms of speed, I would give Ian Garry maybe a little bit more speed than Prates. Power goes to Prates, though. So in this fight, I'm looking at, can Ian Garry stick and move on the outside, which he's fantastic at? And as Prates overcommits on things, leaves himself out of position, will the takedowns come easy? And if he does, I mean, look, the long body style of Ian Garry and the back control, the figure 4, those type of things, I think Prates going to have a hard time getting out of that position. I may be wrong. Look, I'm actually leaning towards, I want Prates to win because I love how explosive he is and because he is a banger. Where Ian Garry has become more of the smarter fighter now since joining the Shootbox Academy and working with those guys down there at Charles Oliveira's. I don't like that. I don't like that, John.
I don't like that.
I'm just being honest, man. I want to look, my days of wanting to see high fight IQ, those are done. I want to see guys slobber knockers. I want to see guys get knocked out and move on to the next fight. Let's go. And I think
so then you love Michael Chandler then.
He got knocked. He's been getting knocked out. Yeah. John, what do you want me to say?
You want to watch guys that are fighting just to entertain, not to win.
Absolutely. Look, I'm past, stop giving great breakdowns. The casuals don't get it anyways. Let's just go right into just, hey, you know what? Look, you hit him hard.
Hit him with a big right hand right
just
across.
Like Don Fry, yeah. Twist his dick, right? Remember those guys? Twist his dick, right? Don Fry, he's fully mounted. Knee bar. Those are the fans that we've got to attract.
Hold on. I was reffing that fight.
we have all the hardcore people that listen to us, John. We've got to get the casuals.
That was Cal Worsham's son.
Oh,
in there. He had his father and Don Fry in his corner. He gets mounted. Don Fry's yelling, knee bar, right? And I'm looking over like, the hell are you talking about?
Where are you gonna get that from? Is there a knee under there that we don't know of? What are you looking at?
That's all right.
Oh man, was that at Lemoore?
It was just That was a strike force.
Was it?
And I'm trying to remember where it was. I think it was in Texas.
Wherever it was, I was there.
Oh,
is it Austin? It must have been Strike Force Austin there, because
might have been.
Yeah, I remember being at that one. I think that's the only time I went to. The only time I'd ever been to Texas was that first time. I think. Okay, give me your idea. Like in terms of how does Prates get it done, and then give me how Ian Garry gets it done.
Prates gets it done by being smart as far as he backs up Ian Garry. He comes forward because Prates fights coming forward. That's his way. Now Ian Garry is going to use a lot of movement. He's going to circle and everything, and that's fine. He actually can fight off of his back foot. He's not one of those guys that has problems. He still is effective, but Prates has to come forward because that's the only way that he is effective. He doesn't go back. So he's going to come forward. He does have to look, and it is more difficult, no matter what anyone wants to say, to get, if you're backing up or laterally moving, much more difficult to set up the takedown. So that will help with keeping Ian Garry from being able to get that takedown if you are making him move laterally or pushing him back. I just look at it and I go, I believe Prates is an incredibly aggressive fighter. That's what's made him really fun to watch. I do think that Ian Garry is a super talented fighter. And I mean, when I say super talented, he's good everywhere. And that's why when you sit there and you go, well, I think he's going to wrestle. Yeah, if he's smart, he will. Because this is almost in the same crux as his fight against Michael Page. He can sit there and say all this stuff. I'll stand up with you all day long. Doesn't matter. What matters is you having the common sense to say, I'm not gonna fight you where you're really strong.
Yeah,
I'm gonna put you in your weakest area and then take advantage of you there. I think this fight, honestly, it's very close. I don't know right now who's the person that is the dog in this as far as the odds, but man, I'll tell you what, it's got to be close, and it is. It's what, minus 130 for Ian Machado Garry is a minus 130 and plus 110 for Prates. That's close. Obviously, the odds makers are thinking it's close too, and I think this is a close fight. Both guys can win. It's which one fights the smarter fight.
I think Ian Garry's the faster fighter, and normally speed kills.
I don't think he's much faster, though.
I think he's significantly faster.
Do you? I don't.
Yeah. The power, though, I'm going to give to Prates.
Okay.
The wrestling, I'm going to give to Garry. The grappling, I'm going to give to Garry. Now, look, the reason being is I haven't seen Prates wrestle. I haven't seen him grapple. So that's the thing, John. I don't have much to go off of. Like, the sample size just isn't big enough when I'm looking at his grappling yet. So I mean, Ian Garry, we've seen him, we've seen him get people's backs. We've seen him not be able to get finishes, but he's been there. He's been there plenty of times. So, and he's getting better. It seems like fight to fight. So that being said, I'm going to lean towards Ian Garry. I think the minus 130 is well warranted.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, you can take a look at a lot of things. Ian Garry and Prates have common opponents. Mm-hmm. They both fought Neil Magny. Prates got rid of him in the first round. Mm-hmm. And you could just take a look at, it's tough right now. I will tell you that overall, look at Ian Garry's fought the higher level competition in the UFC.
Are you trying to do MMA math right now?
I'm not doing MMA math.
I thought you were old enough to understand that shit don't work, man.
I'm not doing MMA math. I'm just saying, like, if you want to sit there and try to compare certain things, you can look at it. Ian Garry's fought the better overall competition, but 4-0 in the UFC right now for Prates, and he has gone through everyone. He has not gone to a decision. That says a lot right there.
He's got more power, John. That makes more sense. Hey, Dave, will you throw up a poll, though, and find out what our people think out there of who's going to win this fight?
Yeah.
Yeah, throw a poll for that. We'll revisit that in about an hour. And we'll still be here hashing things out. But look, I honestly think the minus 130 is warranted. Like you said, the higher competition is going to probably give the voting people, or the poll people, whatever you want to call it. They're going to probably thinking that. I'm going to go with the minus 130 on Ian Garry. The over, though, is a minus 190, and the under is a plus 158 at 2.5. So
at
over
2.5.
At 2.5. It's a 5-round fight.
It's a 5-round fight.
Yeah, it's over 2.5 at minus.
Okay.
190.
Got it. All right.
Okay, under 2.5 is plus 158. I don't think it's going to be under.
No,
I think Ian Garry runs too much. He moves too much. I mean, it's going to take Prates a good 3 rounds to catch him. Yep. Like, as in terms to like even be able to touch him, because he's going to be running around. I mean, like Ian Garry just brings his bike to the damn cage and he just rides it around a circle and he sticks and moves. He does a great job of it. Great job, you know. But we saw in the MVP fight, he finally found someone that was faster than him. And so then he all of a sudden became a wrestler. And I think in this situation, that Prates is not faster than him, but he does possess the power and he doesn't want to take those chances. I don't blame him, John. I don't blame him. As much as I want to see a slobber knocker, I think in this situation, I think you're going to look to see him wait for Prates to overcommit on something, try to get to that body lock, try to get to those takedowns, lift, scoop, get to the top position, control the top position, do some work from there, and hopefully Prates gives him back. Now, I guess the question is, does Prates have grappling like Jean Silva? That's really what it comes down to. Like, if you've got that ability to stuff takedowns, that ability to get back to your feet, that ability to, get your back off the fence, I mean, then I could be putting my foot in my mouth.
And it's tough to say, but Neil Magny was looking at trying to take him down the whole, first 2.5 minutes when he wasn't hurt. And that didn't go well for him. And we've seen Neil actually get some good takedowns on some good fighters and stuff. I'm not going to sit there and say that, he's got the greatest grappling game ever, but it's not bad. And just the fact is exactly what you said, the power. When you get hit by power, it does one of two things. It changes your mind of, I don't want to go back in there. Or it puts you in the position, I've got to get in there and I got to get in there quick because I can't get hit by him again. We're going to see which one it is.
Look, I'm excited for this fight. I'm hoping for a slobber knocker. I know we're going to see all of a sudden he's a wrestler. That's what we're going to see. Probably by round 1.5, somewhere in the second round. I think he's going to mix in a little wrestling in the first round, but not chase it too much. But by round 2, he'll be full-blown wrestler. Full-blown.
The poll has a pretty tight, to be honest with you. They've got Ian Garry, 54% win. Prize.
You just put it up. What did you think? Because you just put it up.
I mean, it's been pretty steady. It's been pretty steady the whole time they've been voting. So
okay. All right,
you can also look and say, take a look at this whole thing though. Gary's coming off of his first loss, right? Mm-hmm. He is. How does that affect him? Does it affect him? Maybe not at all. Freaking Prates coming from the fight nerds. As far as the male athletes there, none of them have lost yet in the UFC. Does that put pressure on him? Does he feel like, I've got to perform? Or does he just say, I just go out and do what I do? There's a whole lot of different ways of looking at everything, and there's a lot of intrigue to it, but it's just going to be, I believe, a great fight between two guys that really are outstanding in what they do.
I would agree, man. I would agree. On to the next one. Light heavyweight Anthony Smith, 38-21 record, John. That's a lot of damn fights. You do the math because I'm too slow for that. Versus Zhang Minyang, 18-6. Anthony, I believe this is a retirement fight, correct?
Retirement fight. This is it.
All done. It's a wrap, son. It's a wrap. Yeah. He was in Strikeforce. He was in Bellator too, wasn't he, for a bit?
Oh, yeah.
He's in Bellator, Strikeforce. Yeah, UFC. I mean, he's been
everywhere.
He's been everywhere, man. I saw this little short clip that he did talking about the Bisping situation, but him saying Bisping basically helped him, like when they were at Fox doing the analyst work and commentary work. And I think I've said this before. Look, I know that Bisping him and I have kind of had like some things back and forth in terms of like off our podcast. We also had Michael on, and fantastic person, man. Fantastic. Yeah. I trained with him a long time ago at Huntington Beach. And I thought he was a nice guy back then. Definitely wasn't what I thought when I was training with him. I was like, this is not the guy that I seen on TV. Maybe it was a chick, maybe it wasn't. I think there's a little bit of that realness, in there. But he's a legit person, man, in terms of, and Anthony was saying this, he's like, he actually gave me all these pointers, kind of helped me, dug me out of some holes when I was on TV. Like, that's what somebody that wants to see other people grow, that's what they do. Yeah. And I've had opportunities to work with so many people, at the desk when I was working for Bellator, and just getting those guys like Rafian Stotts and AJ McKee and those guys, like, just telling them, hey man, just have a conversation. Let's just have some fun. Like, don't worry about the cameras. Just talk to me and talk to, Amanda. This would be great. And sure enough, man, normally it worked out pretty damn well. So I think that when you have guys like Bisping who are willing to help the ones that are up and coming, not looking at it, because there was people that I had worked with before I got the job. They were like, that thought I was trying to take their job. And I kind of was, but I wasn't like, hey, I'm taking your job. I was offered the position. That's the thing. You're offered the position to work there.
Here's the one thing that was told me long ago. Mm-hmm. Look, everyone's, it's all a question of when, who's going to leave who, because either the promotion or the production company is going to say, hey, you know what, thank you very much, but we're going to go a different direction, and they're going to pull somebody else in. Or you're going to say, you know what, I'm tired of, just doing this, tired of whatever it is, I'm going to leave. But someone's going to leave somebody. Yeah. But there's always got to be someone sitting in that chair. Okay. And as long as, the only way it's bad is if someone is working the back room and trying to, put stuff out there that isn't quite true just to make somebody look worse and have someone look better. That's when you look and you go, quit being a douchebag. Other than that, you want to be, a analyst, a host, a freaking on the desk, a guy, doing commentary. There's not that many jobs. Let's just be honest. It's very, very limited in our sport as far as jobs. And so if it's something you want to do, then you got to be, I thought, someone like Anthony has done basically like the desk up top where he talks. He does a good job. He's done the desk with like Karen Bryan in there. He does a good job. He knows the sport. People can sit there and say whatever they want. This man has, close to 60 professional fights. Okay. He is. Is
that what the math equated to? Okay, go ahead. Sorry, go.
But it's this is where you look and you go, does he know the sport? Man, he knows the sport. He knows the ins and outs. Has he reached that pinnacle? No, he didn't. But man, he was right there. And let's be honest, if he had fucking said, oh, you know what, I can't go on against John Jones, they would have ended up disqualifying John Jones, and Anthony Smith would have been the champ. I understand why he didn't do it that way, and God bless him, for having that, outlook. But he's been as close as you can get. He is he's been a phenomenal fighter. He's fought everybody. You can't say anything about the guy that's not good. I love Anthony Smith as a person. He's a great person. He's turned himself into a well-rounded fighter. He was a kickboxer in the beginning, couldn't, grapple hardly at all and stuff. His wrestling was okay, but no submissions. Got a great submission game now. He's exactly what you want someone to be in the MMA community. He's a good person. He's a family man. He takes care of his families. He takes care of his obligations. You can't ask for more.
No, I agree. I think he's a fantastic person. I love hearing him on the mic, man. He's very clear, concise about what he's trying to say. Yep. And he speaks from the heart. He understands, like, he's been through the block, like you said, almost 60 fights. So he's been around the block. He's been through the block. He's been up and down the hill and the mountain and over the top. And, he's walked uphill both ways with no shoes on. Like, he knows exactly the ins and outs of this sport. And a lot of those people that he's been up there doing analyst work about, he's been in the cage with. Yeah. And to go back on the John Jones situation, he should have taken the DQ, John. Should have taken it.
I know, but it's like,
look, let's be honest. If he would have taken that, John Jones would have had to come back. And guess what? Anthony Smith would have been 20% better because he was the champion. It worked out for Aljamain Sterling. Why wouldn't it work out for Anthony Smith? Then that would be 2 losses on John Jones's career
by disqualification.
For cheating. That's what it was. By DQ. Right? For DQ. Anyways. I'm
maybe the
here, guys.
Maybe the
Tuesday night.
UFC wouldn't have to pay him so much for the Tom Aspinall fight.
Right.
Another loss on the record.
I mean, okay, let's talk about the fight though, John. Let's talk about the fight.
You take a look at this. If you're going to ask for a good retirement, this kind of reminds me of the Robbie Lawler Nico Price fight. When you looked at it, you go, look, Robbie's got all the experience. Robbie's a guy that's been there, done that with top flight people the whole time. Nico Price, tough guy, but he hasn't been in the wars, and he hasn't had the ability to be in there with the very best like Robbie was. And it, it went his way. Well, I think this fight's kind of the same way. It's not that Zhang is not a good fighter. He is. He's a good fighter. He's tough, but he has not been in with people, of the level of what Anthony Smith has been in with and what he brings to the cage. So this is going to be a tough fight for Zhang. This is one where Anthony should be able to, be himself, go out there and just perform comfortably and enjoy himself in what's going to be his last fight.
I always wondered if fighters that know it's their last one, how they approach that. Because I never had that. Like, I literally was like, oh, if I win this, once I win this fight, I'm going to fight for the title and then we'll move on. I didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
And, and then I had this really shitty referee, missed a headbutt. My fucking career was over right there on the spot. I don't know what the fuck.
At that moment that you got headbutted, that was a legal technique.
Yeah, just for that one moment.
Just for you.
Right? Just for that one moment. The ref is out here making rules as we go. He's like, I wrote this shit. Let me just scratch this one off. That doesn't need to be there for this fight.
Not for this one.
Yeah. Look, Anthony Smith right now though is I always wondered, like, when you're making that walk, did you run a little extra? Did you do a couple more sprints? Did you push yourself a little bit harder in the cardio area? Like, did you stay a little bit longer and drill because you knew it was your last one? Also, when you're making that walk, do you feel free?
You got to.
We put so much pressure, John, on ourselves.
Sure.
Like, when we're walking, as we're in the back on the day of weigh-ins, the day after, like the morning we wake up. Does he feel free? Like, no matter what happens, this is it.
That's it.
I've gone a great career. I've done everything I possibly can. I've missed the pinnacle, but I was there. I was right there at the top, fighting arguably the greatest fighter of all time in John Jones.
That's right.
And could have been the champion because John cheated, but I didn't do it because I'm a good man. I mean, that's the argument right now, right? Anthony Smith, though, is he going to feel free as he walks to that cage? When he gets in there, will he fight free? That's what I want to know. What do you think?
I do think, and especially let's go into the 60 professional fights. You think, does he get nervous? Sure, he gets nervous. Does it affect him? No. And so I think with this fight, I think he's going to walk out there saying, let's just go.
Yeah.
Let's go. And I think he's going to end up actually having a really good performance against a guy style-wise, kind of a good style matchup for him. So good luck to him.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it. Hopefully he gets it done. But John, on the odds, that the odds don't make him look very favorable. So it's a plus 399 and a minus 550. The over under on this. I mean, you got
but you know why?
Minus 550 because he's just getting a little bit older, John.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Take a look at his last bit of work and where he's been at. It's been losses. And so they're looking, going, it's not there. He had the real nice guillotine choke against Petrino, I want to say, who was undefeated at the time. Great job, but he's got a lot of losses, in that last 10 fights of his. But take a look at who he's fought. You got Ankalaev in there, right? You got Johnny Walker's another one. You had Glover. Glover Teixeira was a grappling match, I believe. So hold on. Khalil Roundtree was another one that was, but he did have that great fight with Glover that Glover ended up winning, and so Roman Dolidze is another one. Roman Dolidze went up to 205, but I mean, pretty good names there. Dominic Reyes, who we just, looked at, in that and said, hey, he's on his way back, and he just proved that again, man. It's not like he's fought bums.
No, not even the Strikeforce days. He didn't fight bums.
No.
He's
his first Strikeforce fight, I did, and they put him against Roger Gracie.
Yeah,
and I was like, "Wait, the guy's a kickboxer. What are you doing?"
Yeah.
It wasn't.
What's
it
that?
It was Ben Lagman.
No, the first fight that I did with him in Strikeforce.
Oh, first one you did. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry.
Got to clarify those things, John. All right. Let's go ahead and move on. David, the lightweights. David Onama versus Giga Chikadze.
I'll tell you what. This is you want that banger one? Here it is.
Yeah.
Because this one is going to be, Onama is
Sorry,
super
not
athletic.
lightweights, John. Featherweights. My bad.
Yeah,
I said
I know,
lightweights.
sorry,
Did I say
sorry.
lightweights? Yeah.
Yeah,
My bad.
but Onama is super athletic, fast, long, but in the stand-up, he's at a deficit against Giga. Giga's slick. He is a well-trained stand-up fighter. I look at it and think Onama needs to, so you want to be a wrestler. It's a good thing to be. Take Giga and put him on his back because, if Onama wants to get into a stand-up battle with him, I'm not saying he's not athletic. I'm not saying he doesn't have speed, but he does not match up technically against Giga in the stand-up. So use that athleticism and put him on his back.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the way to get it done as well. And look, Onama can use the reach and the range also too with the fast striking. You just got to make sure he keeps his chin down and doesn't take too many chances. Throw the one shot, maybe close the distance, get into the body locks, something along those lines. I don't see Onama really shooting double legs. I mean, if he does press him to the fence, maybe dropping down below the butt and lifting and scooping, maybe something along those lines. But I mean, I think everything from the clinch would be ideal. Get into the clinch, throw some knees, maybe a trip, something along those lines. Pull the head down, get into the front headlock, because I think Onama is going to be a little bit of the taller fighter.
Oh, you think he's taller?
I probably close.
I don't think so. I think they're close.
No? Yeah, they're close, but I think Onama's a little bit taller. I think he's probably a little bit longer in reach as well.
5'10" Onama and 6
foot
foot
for Giga.
Giga, yeah.
Oh, Jesus, man. 5'10". You're oh, geez, man. 2 inches is a lot. That's what she said. Anyways,
that's what you told Dave at the start of the break.
Yeah, Dave. Dave's all I got 3 babies by the head. 2 inches. All right. I mean, like, this can be a fun fight, though. I mean,
this is a good one.
Giga needs to do something. Like, John, why does he look? Doesn't he remind you of Korshkov?
Very much.
Very much, right?
Very much.
Yeah, I mean, like they're probably in their early 20s, but they look like they're 50.
Oh, they look like they're 55. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like, geez, man, guys, come on, get the Turkish touch up, fly out to Turkey, go ahead and get it done.
Get the plugs.
Yeah, man. Yeah. What was the other guy that got it done? Jackson.
Oh my God, no, Damon Jackson.
Damon Jackson, he got it done too. He looks like a whole new person, man.
He's got a whole head of hair.
Just living his life.
Him and Cowboy.
Doesn't Giga look just like Korshkov?
Very much. They're very similar.
Yeah, they look almost exactly alike. Yeah. Look, Dave's like, wow, they look exactly alike. Holy cow. And look, see that photo with the Bellator belt though? He doesn't have hair anymore, Dave. That's an old photo. See, that's him on the right.
This is him down here, right? This one right here.
Yeah. He's bald as hell now.
He bald as hell.
It's got no hair.
No,
Giga's bald too. That's great, man. They look exactly alike, don't they?
They do.
Hey, tell me.
They do.
Yeah. He's like, yeah.
Korshkov has more cauliflower. That's about it.
Yeah.
Korshkov's got more muscle too. Trust me.
Yeah, he's also a little bit better of a wrestler too. But that's why he's got more cauliflower. Michelle Pahea versus Abus Magomedov. A good fight, man. Middleweight fight. Good match.
It is. The funny part is, okay, I look at this and it's like they match up very well, and they both get tired. So it's one of those.
Well,
go ahead.
Michelle doesn't get as tired now at 185.
No, he doesn't. But it's always been that whole thing of he gets tired. Abus gets tired. This is one of those ones. Pahea is just dynamic. He just got to get rid of the crap. Mm-hmm. Be dynamic. Do all the spinning attacks you want to do. Stop with the backflips. Don't do anything. He has settled it down a lot, but he gets himself into bad positions based upon wanting to be this guy that does something that's crazy in the cage. You know what's good in the cage? Winning.
Yeah,
and he needs to be careful because Abus got power. He's got good striking, and they match up very well. But as you said, Pereira looks better at 185 as far as his conditioning, but they both still get tired.
Yeah, Abus got power for 1 round, John.
Yeah,
he got power for 1 round. After,
That's right.
It's so weird because even when he doesn't look like he's tired, it happens fast. Like you can, he's doing great, and all of a sudden
falls off the cliff.
Just done. Like a completely different fighter. If you put any pressure on him, he just starts to wilt.
Yeah.
And what does Michel Pereira do really well? Put pressure. He just walks forward, just like, okay, I'm going to go throw caution to the wind. And I think that's going to be his MO in this fight. I think that's what he's going to end up having. That's where he'll end up having success in this fight. Which is funny because the odds maker also have it at -135 per hair and then a +114 for Abus.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I would lean obviously towards Pereira, and the over on it is a -175. I would go that way as well at 1.5. That's close though, John. That's a very close because Abus is going to get tired by probably about 30 seconds left in the first round.
Yeah.
He'll feel right in there, and he'll feel good coming into the second for about 1 minute and 10 seconds. Can he survive that next minute and a half? That's where we're at. But overall, the fight that I'm really looking forward to, John, is the Nicholas Dalby and Randy Brown fight.
Damn, that's a good one. Yeah, and that's one of those
far down on the card.
Well, it's part of the main card.
Talk to me, Goose. It's still at the very bottom though, John. Is it on the main card?
It opens, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, does it open? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm looking at
sense.
I'm looking at something else. I'm not looking at the actual
I look at this one, first off, Randy Brown's coming off of that loss to Brian Battle.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, a lot of people didn't think he lost, but he didn't get the decision on it. And it was a tough fight back and forth. He's going to have a guy very similar as far as Dalby takes punishment and keeps coming. And he's got that karate style. He does a lot of different things, but man, he is tough as hell, and he is going to continue to be there. So Randy Brown's got to just say, I need to fight the same way I did against Brian Battle, just a little bit more, because that's what's going to get him a win against Dalby. It's a tough fight.
Got to come in a little bit better shape.
Yeah.
He just looked a little tired in that last fight, wasn't able to do much against Brian Battle. And Brian Battle is someone that
he's a grinder, man. He kind of just without as much good technique is the Diego Sanchez a little bit. Just keeps coming forward. Different style. I get, and then maybe that was a bad analogy. Yeah. Not quite.
You understand what I'm saying though. Someone that's coming forward and just doesn't care, presses the pace. I don't know.
I just look at him. He's that guy that, people don't give him the respect that he deserves.
Brian Battle?
Yep.
Yeah.
Because he is absolutely a tough individual. He's one of those guys that when you watch him, you go, he got the dog in him. You don't quit.
Yeah. He's also the guy you look at me like, yeah, I can beat that guy.
Yeah. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
That people look at him, I can beat him. And it's like, you're going to have your hands full.
Yeah.
You can have your hands full, but if you can, you're doing something because he's tough.
True story, John. I took a look at the video when I found out I was fighting Clay Guida. I was like, bro, this guy is never going to fucking beat me. This guy, never. And the guy's a grinder, man. He ended up having a fucking great career, because I think a lot of fighters looked at him like, oh, he can't do this. He can't do that. He just pressed the pace, just kept coming forward, just kept working. Holy shit. The guy ended up having a long, long career, man. So, but I look at this fight being a great fight. Dalby being able to take shots and punishment, Randy Brown being able to deliver it. The reach and the range of Randy Brown is going to be some problems for Dalby. Yep. But can Dalby get inside that phone booth and make it a dirty, grimy fight like Brian Battle did? I think it's going to be a fun fight. That's the slobber knocker that I'm looking for. Because I know the main event's not going to be that. Okay, I'm just going to call it out now. You guys heard it here first. Man. And Randy Brown, though, is a -250. Nicholas Dalby is a +206. Is that seem warranted to you?
Yeah. Yeah, it's warranted.
I think so. The last fight I want to talk about, though, was the Andrew Muniz fight.
Andrew. How about Andre?
Is it Andre?
You said Andrew. Yeah,
did I say Andrew? Did I say Andrew?
Yes.
Okay, Andrew. Sorry, my bad. And then Ikram Aliskerov.
Yeah. This is one of those ones, Aliskerov he's good. He obviously, we've seen him get handled by top talent. But Andre Muniz is that guy. You just never know what Andre's going to show up. Sometimes he shows up and it's like, holy shit, look at him go. And then there's other times, I mean, he gets hit with a shot and he's just starting to, just it's not there for him. So I look at this on the ground, submission wise, the better submission technician is Andre Muniz. Here's a guy that has, not only submitted, he freaking broke the arm of Jacare. That's crazy. But, Alice Croft is one of those guys. You just don't know what's going to happen with him because sometimes he looks like a fucking world beater. And then other times, man, he starts to get touched and it's like, he's going away too. So these are two guys. It's like, which one's on for the night? That's the one that's going to win the fight.
John, you said he broke the arm of Jacare.
Yeah.
But let me just tell you this. I went to 5 a.m. jiu-jitsu this morning, and it doesn't matter how you touch my arms right now. They feel like they're going to break anyways. Everything, the ankles, the legs, the hips. It took me a good 30 minutes to get warmed up. And then they started flowing. They went right into grappling. I was like, wait, we're only going to do one technique? Can't we do like 3 or 4 so my body can fully move around?
I need time.
Yeah, I was the gym here is it's a Hodger Gracie gym. And so yeah, they got some big guys in there. There's some big guys in there that I probably shouldn't have been training with, but I was like, I got this. Just heavy, man. I was heavy.
Yeah.
I had to stay on top. I couldn't afford to. The only one that the head coach there, he was big, but man, he was really tight with his control. I was like, man, we're doing gi. Tomorrow morning we're gonna do no gi.
Yeah.
Maybe I can pull something.
Makes
off.
it a little bit easier.
Yeah, it's a little bit easier for my little scrawny ass.
Well, hold on. If you're doing gi and you're the smaller guy, it can protect you because you can hold on to things and just stay tight. You're not going to really get anywhere, but you can protect yourself and make it to where you stay with them for the 5 minutes if that's what the go is or whatever. But without the gi, it's a little bit different.
Jump on the submissions as fast as you can. That's
There
what
you
it
go,
comes
baby.
down to.
Josh,
Yes.
when you're there, when you're doing these classes, I know because like you've been off and on for a bit now, but do you get any of the feels, or do you just like appreciate it for what it is?
Like the feels is in like to train again, like
training, like being in there, like missing it, like nostalgia, those type of things.
You know what it was is when I first got here, I was training at another location, and I never got the feel. I was like, I just don't. I wasn't vibing with the space, right? I was like helping kind of to teach a class in the morning, the 5 a.m. class, and I had a good group. But then, like as I realized, he was having problems keeping them because they were coming at night too, and there was something missing between the coach and the students, and so then I just was like, hey, I gotta get out of this. John, the jiu-jitsu gym, that whole weirdness that goes on. It's very sad. So when I went this morning, I didn't get that vibe at all. Very welcoming, very like, hey man, cool, love to have you here. This is awesome. And then also too, when you train with the other black belts, no like machismo bullshit that you sometimes will get, at some jiu-jitsu gyms. And it felt great, man. It felt good. So I'm excited about it. It's just it's about 17, 18 minutes away from my house versus 4 or 5. So that sucks at 5 in the morning. But yeah, I did get a little bit of the feels. I was like, it felt good. It felt good to get, we did we did 6 8-minute rounds, and then I was by the last round I was done, John. Literally, I was training with the guy that was 140 pounds, and I was just like, bro, let me just lay on you.
And you had noodle arms. You're just like sitting there.
Don't move.
Hey, how come you're going back to training after having a little road rage incident?
Well, I wanted to see if I still had it. So.
All right, got it. So,
but look, also when you have a road rage incident with somebody and they get out of the car and you can see their belly through the shirt, like you basically just know I'm leading with the push kick. Like, I'm going right to the push kick. I'm
right
like
toes it right there.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick my big toe in your belly button hole. That's what I'm doing. Like Paul Buontello, I made him throw up at least twice. With
so you can't count that. Paul Buontello threw up more than anybody I knew.
This wasn't before a fight though, John. This was in training. This is training. He used to get sick though. He did used to throw up before he sparred with Cain Velasquez.
Fight.
He would throw up before he sparred with Cain because he knew it was gonna be brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, he had to spar with me a couple of times. I gave him a little belly button push. He liked it. Went
He
straight to
liked
the
it.
trash can. We had a trash can on the ring apron for him.
That's smart.
Yeah, it was disgusting. Let's go
There
ahead and
are
do
those
some-
guys, man.
Yeah, there is. Let's just, but to answer your question, Dave, I did get a little feels this morning. I didn't have it for the last 2 years I've been here. I didn't have it. Just actually kind of felt weird, but now I felt like I feel comfortable at this gym. I went today. I know it's only the first time, but all the guys, 4 of the guys that were there were actually at the old gym that I was at, that I was
you'll
teaching
know.
the class in the morning, and they were cool guys. And they're like, "Yeah, we had to leave. They're like, we just couldn't do it there anymore."
You'll
I was like,
know.
all right, cool. So then it was nice to see their faces again. They were all excited to see me, and I was like, all right, cool. I'm glad. I feel welcome here. So it was good. It's hard. I think what people don't realize, not all black belts just walk into another gym and be like, "Oh, this feels good." It doesn't feel that way.
No.
So,
It's
you gotta
awkward.
set it out. You gotta set the fillers out and everything. And especially for someone at my age where I'm not training all the time, like you don't want to walk into a gym and be like, "Oh yeah, I want to test myself against that guy." Like I'm not having that right now. Not those kind of feels. Let's go ahead and do some super chats. I know we have a couple of them that are lined up there, Dave. You want to read those off before they get backed up?
Yep. Slick Dog. I think Carlos puts Gary away late second, early third. And then
Be the first guy to do it.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised either, because in Prates' last fight, I mean, he knocked the guy out with a jab, correct? Dropped him with the jab. Was that what I was looking at? Look it up. Yeah. Anyways, I mean, he's got the power.
Knockout with a punch.
Yeah. Was
That
it
was
Neo
against
Magny?
Magny.
He dropped Neo with the jab, I believe.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like, and then I remember the Zhang Liang. I mean, he just destroyed him against the cage.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's what I'm saying. He's got power in his hands, and he's got power in his jab, he's got power in his power hand. Like, he's got it all. So it's just a matter of whether he can stop takedowns. And when he does hit the ground, how will he react? Will he be able to get up, or will he give his back? Like, those are all things. Like I said, there's not a big enough sample size for us to have the verdict out on. But I mean, I'm leaning towards Prates. I want him to win, but I think Gary's going to probably turn into a wrestler and stall this thing out. Next one there, Dave.
Spinning heel hook. Is UFC's star power problem due to the decline of American dominance in MMA? Globally, it's growing, but I feel like it's losing interest nationally.
I can't agree with that. Is it? I think
it was a question, John.
What's that?
I think it was a question. I think it was asking.
It was, and that's what I don't agree with it, because you can't sit there and say that their popularity is not as great based upon having champions or main people from other countries. It's always had, a lot of people from other countries. No matter what, it started off, it was, just, mostly the US, Brazil, but man, the sport has been worldwide for a long time. And I think, the thing to look at is exactly what Habib did, what Islam did, what you're seeing now with couple, freaking Tapuria. These guys that go in there and don't, know English, and all of a sudden they're learning it, and they're then speaking to the fans. Yeah. It's immense that they do that. That is a huge element, because as soon as they do that, people start to just, clamor for more from them, because they want to know more. And so I think, that's one of the big things is, I'm not saying it's fair, but it is true. Look, if you're in KSW in Poland, you better learn how to speak Polish. Okay. And if you're in the UFC, I don't care where you're from, the more that you can speak English, the more the fans are going to get behind you. It's just a huge element in it.
You go back to the days of Pride, right? Like Bob Sapp, he learned how to speak Japanese.
Oh yeah.
Certain, like
Josh Barnett.
Yeah, Josh Barnett. Quentin Jackson would even try to rattle off a couple lines, and it just
konnichiwa.
It takes your star power to the next level in that country. And if those are the ones that are lying in your pocketbook, well, then do what you can. And one of the things that Habib was very adamant about was like learning how to speak English. You have to learn how to speak English. Look at all the Umar, Usman, Islam, Abu Bakr, all of them learned how to speak English. Yep. And I think what makes it more, makes him even more popular is that we get to see the growing pains of them trying to learn English and still trying to worry about fighting. Is that when they get up there and they're trying to do the interview and like, oh, sorry, but my English is like Umar. He's did a couple interviews. Sorry, my English is not that good. Like, has to ask a little bit and then goes ahead and answers in English. Like those are things I think as a fan, you're like, you want to see that they're trying, which obviously they are. A lot of fighters all these years still don't speak English. Fucking Charles Oliveira. What the hell, man? Brother, like you'd be a huge star. If you just spoke,
he's already a big English. Star. Yep.
He's already a huge star, but I mean, like, it would be like the next level superstar if he just spoke a little bit English. Like, I think, like I've said this before.
Look at Barab.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I didn't know what the fuck language he speaks because it's not English, John.
I love the guy.
The same. Like, look, Conor became so popular, even though it's Irish and it's English, but it's like a broken English. I don't know what it is. But the bottom line is what made him so popular was the way that he talked trash, because it was English, but it was different from the way we would say it here in the States. Who the fuck is that guy? Like just those kind of things is really what got people just so excited about him. Yeah. And then, I use Habib as an example because I smash your boy.
Boy.
Yeah, those are all things.
But those are the things that Conor, you look at Habib in that exact statement. I smash your boy. Or you look at Conor and his, we're not here to take part. We're here to take over.
Yes.
It's those kind of statements that, man, people, they just grab onto it and go, oh, I love this guy. I love that he said that. Yeah. And that's all it takes.
Because it's not something that as Americans, we would just say, and it would just come off like, whatever.
Yeah. Stupid.
But it comes off different when it's said in an accent from wherever country you're from. Yeah. And in our language. It just catapults you into a new atmosphere. I don't know. It's awesome to see. And like I said, take a look back in history when it was in Japan. All the fighters that tried to learn how to speak Japanese, it just seemed like they pushed them a little bit more. Yeah. And the same thing can be said, I'm sure, for KSW and other promotions. Yeah. Anyways, what else you got for us, Dave?
What I was gonna say is when it comes to American fighters, Tito Ortiz is the most clipped MMA fighter in the world. So,
John, he's just really man taking a jab at Tito.
Man, why are you picking on an old man?
I could scroll Tito's clips all day long, man. They're the best.
Oh, dude, I did. You gotta admit, it's so funny because you can take a look at Tito, and I'll say it honestly. First off, I love Tito. He's a good person. But he was known for, his kind of like trash talk. He was the worst trash talker ever. I know. Someone would sit there and say, what was the one that he did? When are you going to be fighting again? It's going to be in the fall. Yeah, like in April. No, you didn't say that, did you? It just was Tito. Remember, he did the one with I think it was with Ciao, and he did the one with that apple box, an apple juice box, and he squished it. And I go, whoever gave you that idea, if it was anybody, you need to fire him.
Yeah.
And it was like, but he was a great guy.
It was hard because like he exploded onto the scene as the bad boy. Yeah. And then as it went on, he did things like that, and we're like, oh my gosh, like it just took away the bad boy image
because he wasn't a bad boy.
No, he wasn't. He was actually a nice guy.
He's a super nice guy.
Yeah, he was a nice guy, man. Like I had this whole image of him as like a bad boy kind of thing, and then I went down and trained with Rob McCullough, and we had breakfast and lunch and dinners and all this shit together. And I'm like, bro, this guy's a nice guy. Like it's, I mean, obviously walking around Huntington Beach with him is like a little bit different because he is a little bit more like, hey, this is my town. But it was still like when we got around, it's like he's a nice guy. Nice guy. All right, I was friends with Chuck, but go ahead.
Rattling off quickly on a couple of these. Alejandro Gutierrez asks, thoughts on a ranking of refs per weight division? That is the question. I'm not entirely sure what that means.
A like ranking Mark Goddard being refs
here, and then like in terms of fighting,
ranking of refs per weight division.
Okay, so if it's a heavyweight, it's the if you're gonna say the heavyweight of referees would be Goddard. He's probably the biggest there. I'm going to make Herb a light heavyweight.
Beltran, what's he?
Well, I don't know because you got Dan Mergolot is a heavyweight.
Yeah, he's a
I don't
heavyweight.
know.
Heavyweight.
I have no idea.
Mike Beltran's a heavyweight too,
Mike
right?
Beltran's at least a heavyweight. So
Do you have Jason Herzog as an atomweight?
Herzog, no, Herzog would be Herzog's a
45 or
lightweight.
35. I think
He's
he'd
a
be a
155er.
35er. No,
No,
he's
he's a
walked around
155er.
60. He probably walks around 60, 65.
Well, if you say could he lose weight to
Absolutely he
get less?
can. He'd make him suck fucking he's have to cut weight 35, 45.
Now, okay, if you're gonna say atom weight, that's gonna be Keith Peterson. He has because he's
he's
lost
tiny.
weight. Man,
Yeah,
he
It looks good though.
he's doing good, man. But man, he's got to weigh about 110 pounds.
Jeez, man.
Who's your boy with the beard? The big beard thing.
The
Yeah,
beard
that's
is
Beltran.
Mike Beltran.
Oh,
That's
Yeah, he's
Mike
a heavyweight.
Beltran.
He'd squash you. He's a brown belt or a black belt?
He just got his black belt.
he looks like an 85er.
Yeah. Mike got his black belt. He Mike had a real health issue with his diverticulitis, same as Lesnar,
Mm-hmm.
and it really had a lot of problems, stuff. So if you're gonna grapple with Mike, no knee on belly. But Mike is he just got his black belt. So if you're looking for black belts, Goddard is a Bruno Estima, Braulio Estima, black belt. Beltran's a black belt. Jason Herzog's a black belt. There's quite a few now.
Jason, you think Jason can hang with Beltran?
Jason, yeah. Jason can roll.
To me, I feel like he has that OCD. Like he's got to drill a lot. He's got to I feel like to me, he just seems like the guy that has a little more.
Jason's one of those guys. First off, Jason's super intelligent. That's why he's a good referee. The thing about him also is he gets that, this guy does judo. Oh, I need to learn all that. And so he's the guy that, as soon as he sees something, I gotta know that. And he just keeps on going after it till he feels like, okay, I got it now.
Yeah.
He started off with Shamrock in the Lions Den Ken. Yeah, long ago when Ken was in Chula Vista.
Wow. Interesting.
So he's been all over.
Next one.
Alejandro also asks, what happens if a ref gets knocked out or hurt by accident?
If he gets knocked out in the fight,
yeah,
then you'll actually have another referee come and stop the fight. They're going to pull that referee out, put the fighters to the corners, get everything settled, and then that referee's going to take over. The fight doesn't stop because the referee got hurt. As far as it's not over because of the referee, the fighters deserve to have their full fight. No matter if the referee got knocked out, has a heart attack, whatever it is, happens.
Fucking throw the towel in, man. Fucking call the fight.
I was gonna say clearly didn't watch WrestleMania on Saturday night because
those referees are always getting knocked out.
You run in and help your teammate.
When you have two fucking fat heavyweights can't have no control of their bodies, just knocking dudes over. Of course it's bound to happen. These refs get hurt in WWE.
Cody White asks,
yeah, it's not staged at all.
Not at all, John. Not at all.
Cody White.
Cody White. What do you make of Prates quitting against? What do you make of Prates quitting against that little Roy dude? He was very young, but I was still surprised to see it.
I didn't see the fight, so I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. I'll have to go back and take a look at it.
Which one is that?
He said that Prates had quit against one of his previous opponents a while back before being in the UFC, and I hadn't seen it.
He's got a couple of losses. One's a TKO, one's a submission, 2 submissions, so 3 submissions. So
Cody White, give us the name. Who was the guy?
Cody White, right in the regular comments.
If he quit, it's a TKO.
Yeah, I know, but he's got a couple losses right? Dave?
He said by submission.
Yeah, he's got a TKO that was by retirement.
Okay, that's retirement. That's it.
Back at Max Fight 13 in 2012, so it's a long time ago.
It's a long,
yeah.
See, this is where people look and they're going to sit there and go, "Well, he quit against it, dude. He didn't even know how to fight back then." Okay, it's like you're talking about, 13 years ago. He's
under 20.
he didn't have a good night and didn't know how to handle it. Okay. This is what maturity and training and everything does for you. You learn how to deal with things differently.
Alejandro Gutierrez, read that one there, Dave.
Yeah, he says even the mic took a 10-8 against Tito that time. He's referencing one of the ones you guys said.
Yeah.
And then Alejandro lastly puts on here ranking for the fighters to pick for their fight. Yeah, I guess he's asking a ranking for fighters to pick for their fight. Oh, is he saying about the referee thing? A ranking for fighters to pick for their fight?
Oh, so yeah, you wouldn't pick refs. First off, you can't do that.
You don't get to pick.
Yeah, you don't get to pick. But is he saying like you would like rankings? Like, hey, you would say like, hey, like I would put Herzog as number 1, Beltran as number 2, Goddard is number 3, Herb is number 4, whatever. It's like, can fighters rank the refs on which ones they think? So you have a ranking list for referees.
Fighters can do whatever they want. Doesn't mean it means anything.
Legit to make it to have it mean something though, John. That's what they're trying to say.
No, won't work. What you got to figure fighters can have, because you'll have people that have favorites because they think that fighters are very superstitious. This. Mm-hmm. And there are fighters that think that, oh, this referee's bad for me or this referee's good for me. Okay. It has nothing to do with reality. But it's a belief that they have, and so, you can take a look and say, how many times does a referee end up, working with a specific fighter? Well, we just talked about Tito. I probably worked 20 some of Tito's fights. If you go back and look at, who ref Tito's fights, I ref most of them,
Yeah.
And so, did he lose with me? Yeah, he lost with me. Did he win with me? Yeah, he won with me. It's like, who knows? You're going to get the things. It's like, it's okay. Tito, when Tito fought Ciao, okay, there was the whole thing of people, Ciao said, first off, people said that Tito tapped, right? He didn't tap. It was the same as like when they said that Kimbo tapped out to Ken. No, his hand can be out there. It doesn't mean anything. He's got to actually tap, but Ciao came up with a great line after the fight that, hey, when I had him in the guillotine, he verbally tapped, right? And he said, John McCarthy missed it. So I go back to Ciao and I said, Ciao, do me a favor. If you're going to lie, contact me and tell me about the lie so I don't sit there and say something. I said, and second off, if you're going to lie about it, how does someone fucking verbally tap when they're getting guillotine choked? Doesn't happen, right? You can't talk. So he goes, damn, I should have thought of that.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is.
One last one from Alejandro is, can a fighter refuse to have a ref for a fight?
He can if that fighter has had an incident with that referee that people could look at and say, yeah, the referee made such a mistake that it cost the fighter the fight or something like that. And then now he's going to be fighting again and says, hey, look, I don't want so-and-so, give me anybody besides so-and-so. And most, if you have that whole type of situation, most athletic commissions will try to make it to where they put somebody else there.
All I had to do is call Andy Foster. No more fucking John McCarthy.
No more, man. That motherfucker can't see a headbutt fucking far away.
What else? Before we move on, you guys, make sure you guys join us over at OnlyFans, and it is free. We've also got, there's other fighters on there you guys can follow. If you guys don't follow any other fighters and you guys don't follow anything else on there, you'll only see our content on your feed. Their algorithm works that way, so you don't have to worry about seeing anything else on your feed except for who you subscribe to. Demetrius Johnson on there, Luke Rockhold, AJ McKee, Chris Cyborg, and of course us. You guys check us all out over there on OnlyFans. It is free. Dave, let's go ahead and move on. Oh, before we move on though, also want to say betustv.com, hit them up. We guys gave you guys some odds earlier today, so make sure you guys give them a check and fill it all out. Let's see what you guys think. What else you got for us news wise?
Do you want to go to LMNT first?
Yeah, let's go ahead and go right into this.
Let's go.
But we're back, ladies and gentlemen. But you know what? Podcast Dave's got some news for us, so go ahead and pop this off.
All right, let's first look at this one. This just came out today, and it was Conor McGregor telling Mike Chandler that they have unfinished business, and Mike Chandler replies, "Unfinished business loading." I want to get your thoughts on this. We've talked about obviously the fight coming and going. Obviously there's some timing behind this, right? Conor posts this for a reason. He doesn't just. Maybe he did just wake up and do it, but
there was a reason.
So I want you guys to speculate, like what's going on right now that Conor could be.
I'm gonna give you the whole kit and caboodle right now, every bit of it. Conor McGregor was in the United States and visited Trump and saw all the tweets that Trump puts out. So he decided, you know what? I'm just going to put fucking put tweets out all over the place. And now that Michael Chandler just lost to Patty Pimblett, I'm going to say, yeah, this needs to be done. He tweets like Trump.
I think he rolled over off the couch after a bender. Let me just see what's going on social media. Sees that Chandler's on there.
Light it up.
Still talking about Conor McGregor and the potential fight there. He's like, you know what? Let me just go ahead and rekindle this fire. Even though this is never going to happen.
Let me push this button.
Let me keep the little tassel on the leash or whatever it is. Like he's just dragging this along, man. That's just, when do you get to a point where it's embarrassing, John?
I think
we passed that point.
I think we've reached that point.
Have we reached it? I think we're past it already.
Exactly. We have reached that point, and we have gone way over it. Jeez, it's just like there's no point, no reason for it. Be honest. Does anyone want to see that fight? No.
But I think people will tune in. I think it'll probably do better numbers than the last pay-per-view.
Look, he's done better numbers than everybody.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
and that's what I'm banking on, John. That's why I said that ridiculous.
I don't doubt that would happen. But let's be honest, you're not getting the Conor McGregor that once was.
You're not getting the same Michael Chandler either.
Exactly. I'm going to say that. Obviously Michael Chandler is not the fighter that he once was. But it's like, what difference does that fight make now? Doesn't. No one cares.
The fight to make really is it's Patty and Conor.
Oh yeah.
If you want to pass the torch on to the young buck for being across the pond, whatever it is, like pass it off to Patty.
Yep. I think
Connor's a little pissed off because he put some money down on Chandler to win. Didn't happen. And decided to go ahead and like, hey, let me just rekindle this fire a little bit. Maybe I can make some money off of Chandler myself. So you lost me money. Let me make some money now off of you.
Okay.
Dave, what else you got, bud?
Let's hop into the next one here. So we got Dricus with the injury, and Chimaev saying this guy biggest bullshit. So it's the rumor is this is off for International Fight Week. Dricus reply saying, "Let's take a look at the last 2.5 years and tell me who's bullshit." And then he does reply and say, question is, was the fight signed? So he's making it out like the fight wasn't even official. Adding on to that, Barao comes out and says, Khamzat said yes, I'm guessing, to a fight with him. The only thing that makes sense is the interim belt. This fight is going to be bigger than him and Dricus, mark my words.
Hold on. Because a fighter that is the champion gets injured, we should have an interim belt. Dumbest thing ever. What is an interim belt? What does it do for you? What has it done for Tom Aspinall? Well, he's been the interim champion for over a year now, right?
Placeholder, yeah. They're
saying that's done. But not to get away from this.
Yeah, don't get John distracted. Fucking we'll go way off on this side. Stay on task. The task is this fight right here. Kai Bahalo, though, and the interim title thing, it was ridiculous to even bring that up.
Not totally.
Look, not DDP fights all the time. He's an active champion. Look, if he was not active, I could understand. Like if he's a John Jones, I would get it. Like, okay, look, we got to do something. We got to get interim title. Okay, but he's not. He's as active as he possibly can. And if he is injured, and look, where do injuries mostly happen, John? They don't happen in the fights.
No,
they happen in training. And so I'm sure it's not a major injury. It's just going to get you past probably the International Fight Week. So maybe Chimaev's visa was only good for that amount of time because Trump's like, no, he's got to fly in, he's got to fly out, we got to get him out of here because we don't know what could happen, but bottom line is, Kai Bahalo and him would be a great fight. I saw some video footage of the two of them training, and they were just drilling. I don't know what it was. I mean, like it just seemed like, yeah, it was great training with them, da da da. And then Chimaev posted a picture of him choking Bahalo, but they were drilling, and then Chimaev got to his back and got it wrapped around the neck, and he just basically took a screenshot of that one photo. And I was like, yeah, but they were just doing the drills. It wasn't live training, it wasn't sparring, it wasn't any of that. So, but it's just funny that he posted it. Chimaev seems to what I do like about Chimaev, John, he travels around
everywhere.
He trains with everywhere. He trains with everyone.
Yep.
That's good on him, man. Like that, because then that gets the buzz going on. No, he really is as good as people think.
Oh, he's that good.
No, he is.
Yeah, there's
but
no doubt.
I don't think that was ever the question, was it? It was more the cardio now because of the COVID situation.
Yep. Yeah,
that's always been my knock. That's been not always my knock on him. Just after COVID, he hasn't been the same. So that's been my knock on him for this duration of his last 3 or 4 fights, three fights or so. Because he was a beast during COVID until he got COVID.
Exactly.
Beast. But then it's hard to tell because those fights didn't go very long either. So who knows? But what do you think of this matchup if it does happen?
I think it's a great matchup. I love it. I love the fact that Bahalo is trying to, he's trying to climb that ladder, and he's going after the people in top of him as far as the rankings and stuff. That's what you got to do. You can't sit there silent. If you sit there silent and you don't get the fight that you wanted, guess what? Shame on you. Okay. We saw it with Sean Brady. He wanted Leon. He asked for Leon. He ends up getting Leon after Leon already had another opponent. Okay. And that's because he sat there and he barked at him. He's the squeaky wheel. This is being the squeaky wheel. I think it's a smart way of going about things. You know what? Everybody says they don't want to fight Chimaev. Bullshit. Kai Bahalo wants to fight him. Let's see it.
Yeah, closed mouths don't get fed.
That's it.
Out at the dinner table and not in the fight game.
That's it.
Never happens. Look at if you're looking at this, Kai Bahalo is number 6. You got Whitaker ahead of him, Adesanya, Chimaev, Strickland, Imavov. I mean, which is crazy to me that Imavov is not getting the title. He's not getting the title shot, but Chimaev is.
Well,
I mean, I wouldn't why would you not? I would love to see Imavov and Chimaev fight then. And I like Kai Bahalo as well. I'm down. Like you said, closed mouth don't get fed. Imavov's being real quiet right now. So maybe he's like, I'll just wait to see how the dust settles. I'm sitting here at number 1. I'm sitting here at number 1. Let's just let it figure itself out. I'm going to use my high fight IQ and my high ranking IQ to just sit here and chill for a second. Let these guys duke it out.
Hold on. He might be putting himself in a position just for, how things are working out. It was supposed to be Chimaev. Chimaev ends up fighting, we'll say, Bahalo. And then we get DDP is healthy again. It might be Imavov getting that fight instead.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
He's not sitting in a bad spot.
Bahalo can get past Chimaev, yeah. Because they'll give it to Imavov instead of
that's right.
Bahalo.
Yeah.
Yep. Interesting. What else you got for us, Dave?
All right. Well, staying in middleweight conversation here, Adesanya saying that he wants to get the Strickland fight back. And so, there's a potential return for him. What do you guys think about that?
No, we talked about that. He definitely wants that fight back. And you take a look at where the rankings are at and where he's at with Strickland. It makes sense. Both are coming off of losses, right? You got Adesanya coming off of a loss. You got Strickland coming off of a loss. Let's get somebody a win. And if it's Strickland, then he stays in that position where he's right there looking possibly at another title shot. And if it's Adesanya, well, then he climbs back up into being that guy that can possibly get a title shot. It's a win-win for the UFC. So that's the kind of fight. And they have a guy in Adesanya who absolutely was their guy. He's a guy that took fights when even, he really didn't, have the full camp or wasn't really ready. He did what he was supposed to do for the UFC as the champ. And they kind of owe him. And they're usually really good as far as when you have someone like that and they do, show up, time and time again for you. Yeah, we'll get you that fight. And I think they will.
Yeah, I don't see another fight to really make. I mean, that makes the perfect sense. And I also want to say Cali from Cali, welcome to the fam. Thank you so much, new member. But yeah, I think there's no other fight to make. That is a perfect fight. The two of them, that fight just seemed a little weird. The Strickland getting the drop on Izzy in the first round, and then Izzy just not really ever being able to settle in throughout the rest of the fight. And Strickland just picking them apart. Little push kick, jab, couple of shots. I mean, just overall great performance for Sean Strickland. And also, two of your cash cows, both of them bring a lot of viewership to your pay-per-views or to whatever card they're on. So one of them gets a win that puts you right back into being able to getting them to headline a pay-per-view or be there somewhere in that top pay-per-view position. So that helps you no matter what. What else you got, Dave?
All right, let's do this last story here. Netflix CEO is out saying that they doubt they're interested in. There's doubt that they're interested in the UFC. They're staying focused on big breakthrough events. Wanted to get your reaction here.
When he says that they're not interested in the UFC, that's not true. What he's saying is they're not interested in being the company that puts all of these UFCs out like ESPN did. They want to have the big shows. So I could see the UFC and Netflix having a business relationship with them doing 4 fights, we'll say, a year, 4 big shows that Netflix puts on. The UFC that's how many they're going to have. And we've said, look, the UFC is going to they're going to be on multiple platforms. Are they going to go back with ESPN? I don't know that, and I know the relationship wasn't great at the end, but they did. No matter what, you could take a look at, when it started, ESPN Plus was a nothing. Well, it was the UFC that really put, ESPN Plus in the position where people were paying money, because I was one of them. Okay, because I wanted to watch the fights, and so I had to pay for ESPN Plus because I couldn't get a goddamn pay-per-view without it. And so, the UFC was not bad for ESPN. ESPN wasn't bad for the UFC. So, hopefully they can still have a relationship, but I still think the UFC is going to have 3 to 4 different platforms that they're putting fights on.
Yeah, I'm hoping that it's just minimized to just 2. I'm hoping that what they do to help build their brand in terms of getting the fighters to that next level is to take them off the pay-per-view platform and put them onto the Netflix platform. That's only for the big events. I would say more than 4 or 5. I would say, I know they want to do like the WrestleMania stuff. I know they want to do all, like the big time fights. That makes the most sense. They'll get the most eyeballs. You'll get 100 million, people that are viewing it at one time. Your athletes will now just become fucking walking. They'll be bigger than Brad Pitt in a matter of time. I'm just being honest, John, especially if they're active. Brad Pitt puts out 1 movie every 2 years.
Brad Pitt's an old man.
Yeah, but you know what I meant.
He's my age.
Leonardo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt, those guys. But
he's another old man.
These fighters have an opportunity to become bigger than them because they can be as active as they want if they stay healthy. So if they can fight 2, maybe 3 times a year and get put on these big platforms where there's 100 million people viewing it, I mean, that's huge money for them. That's also huge star power. That builds their brand for them to make money outside of the UFC. That helps them tremendously. In terms of the ESPN deal, I hope that they stay on ESPN. The reason why, and I said this a couple weeks back, is it's a sport network. Like, what other place would I want to go to watch when I want to see the highlights of the day? I want to see the top 10, best plays or whatever, top 10 best plays. I want to see the knockout on there. I want to see the submission, the flying armbar. I want to see that shit on the top 10, countdown or whatever it is. I want to see those things in the sports channel, on the sports network, on the biggest sports network. So it just seems like you would be doing your fighters or your athletes an injustice by not continuing your relationship with ESPN. I hope they stay ESPN and then they do their big stuff on Netflix to help the fighters grow their brand even bigger. It opens up so much more movie deals because now they're getting away from Hollywood. They're getting away from Hollywood. They're moving stuff, some studios to Atlanta, some studios to Texas. They got, I think, 1 or 2 studios going into Florida. They're building them out across the country now. So people are, I don't want to say like people are fleeing California, but simply put, so is Hollywood. Paramount Studios is trying to sell, if they haven't already sold it yet, they're trying to sell Paramount Studios. That's a huge plot of land in the middle of Hollywood. or Studio City, whatever you want to call it.
No, it's Hollywood.
Yeah, I mean, like
It's on Melrose.
they're trying to sell that property. They're trying to sell properties that are there. Reason being is like just they know what they can do outside. And if fighters can be able to have a platform like on Netflix, and the way Netflix is paying some of these actors and these actresses to do shows on Netflix versus going to the bigger studios, athletes like fighters can start making their way into more movie roles. John, I'm still getting paychecks. Yeah, absolutely. Hell yeah. Why'd you say movie roles like and snickered about it? John, I'm still getting paid from NCIS LA. The 2 times I did, 3 times I did it. I'm still getting paid. I got a $25 check just 2 days ago. That's been like 15 years ago, John.
Hold on. Let me ask you a question. Was doing TV or movie stuff important to you?
No, but it's an experience.
I'm not saying it wasn't an experience.
Yeah.
Same thing. Look, I didn't ask for it. They would come and say, "Hey, you want to do it?"
Don't lie, John.
Yeah, sure.
You asked for it.
Dude, look at Friends was the greatest thing ever for me. Okay, I've done a lot of different things, done little movie stuff, done all that stuff, just like you. Friends being the most popular damn show ever. I did that freaking. It was 2 days. I got paid $750 a day. That was $1,500 for the 2 days of doing it back in 1997 or so.
Yeah.
And I have made freaking at least $50,000 in residual.
Oh yeah,
from Friends. So it's been
crazy,
fantastic.
right?
Oh yeah.
Like I said, I'm still getting checks from.
I'll get a check for $1.33 at times, and then I'll get a check for $300. It's like I don't know how it happens or anything, but it's like, thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Well, I did a most recent one in February, I think of 2022 or 2023. Anyway, something like that. I did another NCIS LA during that time frame. And yeah, still getting checks, man, from that one. But I also the one from 2010 that we all did together.
Oh yeah.
I'm still
you remember the Dire Straits song, Mark Knopfler? Money for nothing and your checks are free.
Oh yes, I do. I do remember just that soundbite.
That's it.
Let's go ahead. We have another super chat. What do you got for us?
Yeah, we'll run through these last of these super chats before we wrap here.
Okay.
Alejandro, I know Dave saw the wardrobe malfunction at WrestleMania. Has there ever been something like that in an MMA fight? Josh, stop thinking of Cortez Dern.
That's not a malfunction, bro. That's just how it goes. That they're built that way, brother. There was one with the female, right? Yeah, there's been a lot, but I'm saying there was one recently with a female who her sports bra kind of like came untucked or something. I can't remember who it was, but I remember she like shoved it down real quick. But in terms of men, Dennis Holman, fuck, like you don't have much of a
that was self-induced.
Yeah, but still, it's still not
self-induced. But there's been guys that they've actually had their groin protection fall out. I mean, there's been so many different things, that have happened. There's been shorts that have been torn. Look at Randy Couture back long ago against Vitor Belfort.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of things that have happened. Some of them have happened in the UFC. A lot of them have happened, in other shows and stuff. But there's been a lot of different types of problems with equipment, with the way people dress, all those things. And it will continue to happen.
GC, welcome to the fam, man. Thanks for being a member. And then also to old man Dave, welcome to the fam. I want to thank you guys so much for joining and being members. Go ahead, Dave. Read the next ones.
Yeah, Ellen Roman. Josh, did you see Ilya saying he is in camp and they said it's for the title for 317? Will it be an interim with Charles or undisputed with Islam?
It'll be with Islam. Islam just posted the other day camp started, so I would fully imagine that they're both in camp. And I think because the DDP fight fell off against Chimaev, I think that's probably the fight that they had to put together. Islam coming in to save the day once again,
and Islam being guy that fights 145 pounders all the time, man. No, just kidding.
I mean, if
that's wrong. It's wrong because he's not. As soon as he makes weight, what's he weighing in at?
Yeah, and look, Ilya is going to end up being around 178, 180, somewhere around.
Yeah, as far as the fight, somewhere.
Yeah, yep. We'll see. We'll see how his body. And look, he didn't have the time to put. We saw with Max Holloway when he fought Dustin Poirier the first time at 155. He didn't put the weight on properly, and look what happened. Now, Topuria, it seems a little bit more scientific about his approach on doing things
Everything.
properly. But I don't know, if you think you're going to be able to build the muscle and the strength and the amount of time, to deal with someone who's been consistently at that weight class, we're going to find out. And I gave you guys my full breakdown on the last show. If you guys want to take a look at it on my unbiased, John, was I unbiased or was I unbiased on that?
No, you're unbiased.
I was unbiased. I gave you guys my unbiased opinion on the Islam and Topuria fight. And it's exactly how I see like how that fight could potentially play out. And also too, like my concerns with the fight from Topuria, also too for Islam against Topuria. So it makes a lot of sense on what I said. Believe me or not believe me. What else you got for us there?
All right, last one from Shizak Medov. Could you guys explain how good Ben Askren was on the floor when he was undefeated in Bellator? And let's pretend he didn't enter the UFC.
Look at Ben Askren as far as his wrestling was fantastic, but Ben was always a fantastic wrestler. People don't give Ben Askren credit for all of the accomplishments that he, acquired throughout his career. He was an NC2A champion at Missouri, All-American multiple times. This is a guy that went to the Olympics,
Silver medalist.
Just he's unbelievably, he was called funky because his wrestling style was funky. And you're gonna, you have those guys. We talk about him all the time. This dude, this guy, he's kind of, we talk about Keith Jardine. He's herky jerky, and he's just got a different way of doing things that if you don't practice against him, you get lost in the whole thing with him because he just does it different than everybody else that you have faced. And when he went into the MMA, that was it. He was a one-trick pony. Everyone knew exactly what he was going to do, and they could not stop him for the most part. When he left Bellator, he was a little bit broken up and getting older and having some injuries and stuff. He still went and did well at one. By the time he went to the UFC, he was fairly shot. As a fighter, he was older. His hips were bad, and he had a lot of problems. But when he was, he was the retro guy. He was the Hoist Gracie, as far as he was a one-trick pony. The wrestling was his thing. But if he got you down, you were not getting up. He would maul you. He would hit you with some of the worst striking that you've ever seen, but he would win. He was a winner.
No, I agree with you. He reminded me a lot of Jason Welch, who was also a wrestler out of Northwestern.
Very much.
Yeah, just the scrambling, the funkiness of it all. And if you guys don't know who Jason Welch is, man, he's a 3-time All-American. I believe out of Northwestern. Yeah. Just fantastic wrestler, fantastic person as well. But shit, I just lost who we were talking about. Not
Ben
Jason,
Askren.
but Ben Askren. But Ben to me though is like you said, he came in at the end when he should have been fighting. He actually was done with one FC. One championship, and they were trying to send him over to the UFC as in a trade. And he should have had hip surgery 2-3 years before that.
Yeah.
And the fact that he didn't was because he knew there was fights lined up that he potentially could have had. And the fight with Robbie was one of those fights where that kind of catapulted him into a different position. I know the controversy over it all and all that stuff, but the bottom line is that put him into the next fight. He's just one of those guys that he didn't have a lot, but what he did have was really good wrestling. His grappling jiu-jitsu was really good as well. He just didn't ever really try to utilize it as much. Yeah. He was good at passing guard. He was good at controlling. He was good at all these things. We just never saw as much of it inside the cage. He was very content with just controlling people and letting them work themselves out and just ground and pound them, body, head. And it drove people nuts because you hate to see someone with that much talent and ability to keep wrestling and keep getting takedowns, not try and go for it a little bit more. Because you knew the fight was going to end up right back on the ground again. It just Ben didn't want to have to waste the energy of doing it when it was so easy just controlling you from the top position.
Yeah.
So overall, though, man, Ben was a great guy. Is a great guy. I should say, not was. Is a great guy, and I would have loved to have seen him come over to the UFC a little bit earlier. But let's just be honest, John. The UFC is never been interested in bringing guys like you're seeing it right now with Yaroslav Amosov. They're not bringing him over. It's just not happening because he's mainly a wrestler. They won't, certain guys they just won't.
Okay, but Yaroslav Amosov is the guy that started off as a kickboxer.
Yeah. No, I get it, but
Yeah.
they're not high on him because there's a lot of grappling and wrestling involved.
They look at him the same as they looked at Czech Congo. Czech Congo came to them as a kickboxer and quickly realized I need to learn how to wrestle if I'm going to stay with these guys. And then realized he was pretty good at it and had a damn good career with it. Yaroslav Amosov, if the UFC does not sign him, they're making a huge mistake.
Huge mistake. I mean, he's got a great Darce, great anaconda. He can hit things from anywhere. Saw him with Logan Storley when he hit that Darce from the city butt position, and Logan trying to work his way up, then rolled him through, almost finished him, I think, at the end of the first round. Just a fantastic two ferrets getting after it in that first round. Just an awesome fight. All right, guys. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. And we do our Tuesday night lives every Tuesday, 9:30 Eastern time, 6:30 Pacific Standard Time. Tune in, go to WayneInMerch.com, WayneInMerch.com. Pick up some of our apparel. It's available there. I want to thank you guys so much for continuing to support us. And all the new members, thank you guys.
Thank you guys.
Last, we had a great time tonight with you guys. Big fights this weekend. John and I normally film our fight, record our fight coverage right afterwards. So it drops for you guys Sunday morning early. Unless something else freakishly comes up. That's normally when we drop is early Sunday morning. So we try to beat all the other people who've been copying us for years. And so I want to thank Dave's laughing because he knows it's true. All of a sudden, everyone drops their shows on Sundays, which is funny because we were the only ones doing it for a while everyone was doing it Mondays and Tuesdays because they were being lazy. So now everyone wants to do it Sunday. Love it. I love it. All right, John. Any last words from you, my man?
Yeah, we make them work. For everyone that off of the whole thing with Instagram and stuff, saying hello to everyone. Thank you so much for you guys listening in. Go ahead. I'm not going to stop.
One last thing I want to say, Anthony Smith, good luck, my man. Good luck. I know it's hard. I know it's difficult to make that last walk. I didn't know it was going to be mine, but bottom line is I wish you nothing but the best, and I hope you get it done.
I agree. Congratulations on a fantastic career, Anthony. For everyone out there, thank you for tuning in. We will see you soon. See ya.